I honestly, I think it's hilarious that it's like you have like what size 36O, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're a blonde like pinup girl with size 36O, like, and you're the HR person in the office. I think that is honestly, if that's not a test of like business ethics, I don't know what is, you know?
For sure. For sure. It's so funny. Yeah, I mean, again, like when I was working, I didn't really think much about it, but now I guess looking back, it probably was a test.
Now there's a new boy girl scene is out. Is that right?
Yeah, it was actually a boy-girl-girl scene. I shot with an amazing girl, Marisa Rabbit, and we had a very hot, it's probably my hottest scene that I've shot. You know, or they just don't like big boobs. Some people don't, you know, they don't like big boobs.
Everybody likes boobs. That's a lie. That's a falsehood. We're erasing that narrative now. Everybody loves boobs. Okay, they're the best.
Should.
Yeah, literally they're great. They're just great, right? Like, come on. You know,
Not to love. Right?
What is not to love? You got a lot to love. You know. Women are by far like superior to men mentally because like I'll tell you this, it could be the hottest dude that's ever lived. There's no way a girl is gonna be gooning for 30 hours. You know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
You know? I don't care.
The power of the penis, right?
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, and our guest today is a blonde bombshell who is the bustiest MILF in the game with her size 36O boobs. This busty pinup babe's physique harkens back to the retro porn days, and her collection of extreme high heels and platforms is to die for. A lover of the Batman franchise, our guest's name is an homage to the series and the character Vicki Vale, played by Kim Basinger. In addition to shooting multiple times for Score, our guest has also shot for MILF, Bang Bros, Team Skeet, Shady Spa, MilfAF, TugPass, and more. Before making the leap into an adult as a performer and content creator, our guest worked in the corporate realm while doing bikini modeling and car and trade show work in her off time. When she's not on set, you'll find her shopping to add to her impressive shoe collection, engaging in musical trivia, and showing off her classic rock and music prowess. To keep her in her life on set, we'll have links in the descriptions for all her social media and OnlyFans and everywhere you can find her. But please join me in welcoming the one and only Victoria Vale. Vicki, how are you?
Great. How you doing?
Good. I'll tell you, I absolutely love this shout out to the Keaton Batman reference with the Kim Basinger. The best, right?
My favorite. Yeah, my absolute favorite of the Batman franchise. Such a, I don't know, a good time for, I feel like, superhero movies. Now it's like a bit oversaturated, I think.
No, couldn't agree more. Plus, too, like, I mean, it's like that was, if you look back at that one, especially like with Nicholson as the Joker, it was so
amazing.
dark. You know, that was like Burton at its darkest, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like it's more accurate to like what the comic book was, you know?
Agreed. I'll tell you this, they've all tried to recreate it. You know what I mean? Like they all tried to grasp that like edge and that darkness from the original one, you know?
Absolutely. I don't think anything compares to that first one, in my opinion, but
yeah, I mean, don't get it wrong. The Christopher Nolan ones were good, but they were more like action movies. Where this one kind of was more like a thriller, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And Kim Basinger, oof. I mean, that's top-notch Basinger.
You know my favorite character.
Yeah. Okay, so let's keep it moving. I want to talk about our disputed questions. So my co-host who isn't here today, me and him have these questions that we'll ask you. I have my answers, which are correct, and then his answers, which are dog shit. So we just want to see what side of the fence you fall on. So the first question, Yeah. What movie do you think is better, The Godfather Part 1 or The Godfather Part 2?
Yeah, Godfather 1, Part 1, absolutely. I love Marlon. I know, but everybody says too, but I really love Marlon Brando in that. I don't
I
know.
mean,
It really
honestly,
sets
I'll tell
up
you.
the entire trilogy.
Yeah, yeah. Did you watch? They made a show on Paramount Plus called The Offer, which was about the creation of The Godfather, the movie, right? And it's honestly,
Really?
it's a fascinating show. It's
Is
with
it?
like, oh yeah, Miles Teller, Giovanni Ribisi. Like, it's
Oh
a
wow.
really great cast.
Also
Yeah,
a
it was
cast.
really good.
I'll have
I
to
would
check
say,
that out for sure.
yeah, I would. Okay, I mean, as long as you don't say Godfather Part 3, you're really good, with
No.
that one.
But I
Yeah.
feel like if you watch the first two, you've got to watch the third. Fredo
Right.
and
I'm in the middle of three boys, so I'll throw out like an I'm schmat. Look at me, I'm schmat. Ugh, never hurts. So okay, let's keep moving. Next question: Cheetos, crunchy or puff?
crunchy for sure. Not
Absolutely,
even
you're not a
flesh.
wimp. Yeah, not
No,
even
I
close.
don't want that soft stuff.
No, no, God no.
Keep
What
it hard.
about? Yeah. Sure, it's not the first time you said that. Just kidding. Just kidding. Probably is, knowing you.
So,
Uh, but what? Okay. So then, what about pancakes or waffles?
I'm not a big fan of either, but I guess I would say pancakes. I just don't
Hmm.
like dry food.
Yeah.
Waffles too dry for me.
Yeah, I could see that. Sure, 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 sure. Yeah, nothing like a good pancake for sure. Okay, and then Bill Murray or Chevy Chase.
I definitely would probably have to pick Chevy Chase. I love the original like the vacation movies. I don't know. I
Man.
I, I love Groundhog Day. I don't know,
Yeah,
but I think I would prefer Chevy Chase just for that
yeah,
reason.
yeah, yeah.
Original
Honestly,
SNL.
yeah, yeah. Weekend Update Chase
Oh,
is the best.
absolutely.
Yeah,
It-
he's not.
That,
Yeah, he's incredible. He's incredible. So okay, and then all right, and then let's keep it moving. This is probably the most important question you'll be asked when it comes to eating wings. Are you drums or are you flats?
oh boy, that's a good one. Drums for sure. Sorry, easier to eat.
No, I'm a
I feel
drums
like
guy.
it's
That
something.
was that was a
Oh, okay.
sigh. That was a
Oh, okay.
sigh
I
of
thought you were
like,
going to say
thank
flats.
God. No, I'm
Yeah.
just happy you didn't say flats.
No, it's so messy.
Oh, it's the worst. And two hands? Who
This
wants
little
two
right.
hands?
No, no way.
Ugh.
Then everything gets messy and sticky.
Yeah, gross. We don't want that. Absolutely
No,
not.
but
Nice. Okay, so that was the disputed questions. I'm going to keep it moving. I want to talk about some of the recent stuff you've done. So recently, you went to Florida to film for Score. You filmed multiple scenes for the original Big Boob Network, right? Which Score is the original Big Boob Network. And
definitely.
then you did your first solo scene, and then now there's a new boy girl scene is out. Is that right?
Yeah, it was actually a boy, girl scene. I shot with
Oh,
an amazing girl, Marisa Rabbit, and we had a very hot. It's probably my hottest scene that I've shot. So
oh
it was like, yeah,
wow.
me
That's
and a boy and a girl. So it was pretty
very
exciting,
cool.
exciting stuff.
That's fun. When you're gearing up for that, right? Like, I mean, when you're going to do like a professional shoot like that day, is there what kind of is there butterflies? Is it more like exciting to do this? Like, what are we doing? Like, how do we feel?
Well, I mean, there's a bit of, you sort of prep yourself to like shoot and everything. And I feel like I try and like, pare down my eating the days before and do a lot of stretching to get a little bit more limber. But two, you never know like what the chemistry is going to be on set with who you're shooting with. So I mean, I was so lucky in that scene that I was able to meet Marisa like the night before, and we were able to like sort of connect, and we had just instant chemistry together. So that was super lucky.
Oh, that's fun. Nice. I
Yeah.
mean, plus too, like, that's got to be like a big, especially when it's something like this. I mean, it's pretty intimate. You guys are working together, common goal. But like, yeah, I have to assume, and I've never been in that scenario personally, but chemistry has to be a major factor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure, just for everybody, like sex is so mental. So,
Yeah.
just sort of getting in that mindset and, it's easier with some people than others, I'm sure.
Okay, so like we said, we'll have links in the description where you can find all this stuff for all your Victoria's new scenes, everything like that. And the new scene is Super Stacked Victoria Vale, right?
Yep, I think so.
And
Yep.
and you filmed with Parker Sims, is that right?
Oh, yeah. This was the scene before the one with Marisa. Yep, I did.
Okay, nice. Okay, so we'll have links in the descriptions where you can find all that stuff. And then also recently you shot for MILF.com, the MYLF.com.
Yep, I did.
Debut was huge. And then, okay, so what was that shoot like?
That was crazy. I mean, it was boy, boy, girl, girl. So there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, I guess you could say. But it was very fun. I mean,
Nice.
MILF.com is always so fun. I think they're so creative with the way that they set up the scenes. And it was sort of like an homage to like 90s sitcoms, sort of, sort of like a little bit campy and had like an intro and but of course it was like naughty and it had like a step parent, step sister, brother sort of thing.
Oh, fun. That's cool though. That honestly, really, that genre is really like,
Yeah,
starting to,
super popular.
ex- yeah, it really is. So that's fun. You know what I mean? And like, like that MILF, they're one of those ones where like high end cameras, real high
Oh
production on
yeah.
the shoots. Like that's awesome. Like that. Like I don't know. For me, like when we have I mean, I feel like we try to have a professional shoot every time. But when you go in and you're like, okay, I'm like, I want to take all this with me and like this is how I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
like those kind
absolutely.
of sets.
It's very cool. And they actually like provide wardrobe, which is really neat. They sort of have like a vision of how they want the scene to look and they provide everything. So usually I provide my own wardrobe and, makeup, jewelry, that sort of thing. But in this particular case, like they provided everything. So it's cool.
Oh, I didn't know that. So wait, do you provide your own wardrobe? Is it because like your clothing size, like because of the
Sure.
size of your breast, like is it rare to find that clothing size?
It is it is a bit challenging, yes. That's probably one reason why I don't usually get ordered. But different companies vary, it varies like what they will do. So it just so happens that Team Skeet and MILF.com, they do their own wardrobe. So, but I actually
Nice.
enjoy like thinking about what I'm going to bring when I go to shoot. I'll pack up like a huge suitcase just filled with like shoes and outfits and jewelry and accessories. So, especially if I know what the scene is ahead of time.
Yeah, yeah, that's fun. Nice. Okay, cool. Very cool. Okay, so then let's keep it moving. So, like we said, all that will be available in the description of this episode. So please check it out and have some fun. But I want to keep it moving. So I want to get to know Victoria Vale from the beginning. So, Victoria, can you tell us how did you get your introduction into the adult industry?
Well, actually, through Score. So, like, I had just a Twitter account, and they reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in shooting for them. This was about 8 years ago, 7 to 8 years ago.
Okay.
And I just, I was working just a regular corporate job, and I was like, oh gosh, it's like a bucket list sort of thing to do. And I thought it would be just one and done. And
Yeah.
then I ended up just every year, like going, they asked me to come back and shoot. So it sort of became a yearly occurrence. And then I just decided I would branch out a little bit. They had asked me like to do more like hardcore scenes, and I had said no initially. And then I sort of like said, why not? And this is history, I guess.
Yeah. Look at that. Were you like, so 8 years ago when this happened, did you have like a significant other and then like, did you have to explain to them that you were going to do this or what was going on there?
Yeah, and, I didn't. I was
Okay.
divorced, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's a sort of an awkward thing if you're dating,
Yeah.
like if they see you.
I
But
mean, if that's how they met, like
thank
if they're
goodness it
like,
wasn't
look,
an issue.
yeah, yeah, it could be real awkward if that's how they first originally met you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's fun. So okay, so wait, did that have like something to do with it as well? You're like recently divorced, and you're like, you know what? Screw it. I've always wanted to try this, and let me do it, and I can, and that kind of thing. Did that have anything to do with it?
I don't know. I think it was just something exciting to do, and
Yeah.
again, like sort of a bucket list thing. So
Nice.
it's exciting.
So wait, were you working in like a corporate office before this?
I was, especially when I first shot, I was, and then for a few years after, I still continued with my job.
So I've worked in offices before, and if I worked in an office with you, like you must have drove HR crazy, right? Like,
I was HR, so I don't know if
oh
I
my
was
God, were
blame.
you really?
I was. I worked in HR.
What?
But of course, I
That
mean, I didn't wear anything like crazy scandalous or anything when I was working, but
Right, right, right. But like that is, I mean, because like every guy must have been like eyes out of their head when they looked at you. You know what I mean? Like jaws on the floor, and then it's like, I mean, better be careful because like, man,
I
that's
didn't really think too much
hilarious.
about it at the time. I mean, like looking back, probably, especially with my boob size, it might have been a little bit more notorious than I thought.
I mean, I honestly, I think it's hilarious that it's like you have like size 36O, right? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you're a blonde like pinup girl with size 36O, like, and you're the HR person in the office. I think that is honestly, if that's not a test of like business ethics, I don't know what is, you know?
for sure, for sure. It's so funny. Yeah, I mean, again, like when I was working, I didn't really think much about it, but now I guess looking back, it probably was a test.
So, but were you doing like modeling and stuff on the side while working in the office?
I did like a lot of bikini modeling when I was younger, and then, but I did do like trade show modeling, like
Uh-huh.
auto show type stuff.
Where you would be like the model, like, "Oh, look at the,"
Right,
like, yeah,
yeah,
okay,
always on vehicles and everything. So
yeah. Oh, that's fun, right? Though,
yeah, it was
like,
a little side gig.
oh, that's really cool. I mean, do you have any crazy stories from the trade shows, or were they just, you go, you did your job, and you left?
I mean, it was a lot of fun actually, but it was exhausting. I think people, I mean, unless if you've done a trade show, if anybody's done a trade show, they know like how long and exhausting those days are, just standing, and especially if you're talking, it is a long day.
Oh, sounds like it. So, well, I mean, so just to kind of, I guess this will transition into this, but like the trade show stuff, did that help you and all prepare for like Exotica? Because did you just do Exotica Chicago?
Yeah, I did. I just did Exotica Chicago, and I'm actually at the end of this month, I'm going to be at Exotica Miami. So yes, it absolutely
Oh,
did prepare me
cool.
for that. You are 100% right.
Is there any kind of similarities that you see? Like, I mean, I guess like there's a lot of like talking to people and like, shaking hands, kissing babies, that whole thing. But like, like there's got to be subtle difference at the Exoticas. Is that
Well,
right?
I'm wearing a lot less clothing, so that's probably the one big difference.
Sure, sure, sure,
Um,
sure. Yeah,
it was a bit more, touchy feely, I think, at Exotica
yeah,
than,
yeah.
than the other show.
Honestly, we'd gotten access for full press and media passes for Exotica New Jersey, and it was right before AVNs, so like it was like a big one, and I wanted to go so bad, and I wanted to go more for like the show and the story, and like we had already had like a bunch of people on then, just seeing like all the people that we had on and everything like that, and getting to meet them in person, but like. I remember like my buddy, and I was like,
Right.
hey, you're okay. I was like, hey, like let's go. And he said he asked his girl, and she was like, absolutely not. And I asked my wife,
Oh,
she's like, how? She was like, how would you like it if I went to a hot guy with huge dicks convention? And I was like, well, isn't that called going home? And she's like, absolutely not. And I was like,
she didn't
okay,
find she didn't find it that funny. No,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Yeah, but no, so no, I wanted to go. I mean, maybe one day we'll go to Exotica, but like, man, so is it? I mean,
It's
there's
our
got to be a
Friday is
lot.
ladies' night. There were more women on Friday night than there were men. Honest to God,
Oh,
I was
really?
really shocked by that. Yeah,
That's a
at least in
genius
Chicago. I don't know
idea.
how Miami is going to be, but yeah, in Chicago there were definitely more women than men on Friday night.
That's a genius because, like, obviously, like, it's a pretty charged up energy for men at an Exotica because of what's going on. So, like, I guess the women don't want to feel ogled, and when they go there, so like, wow,
Yeah,
they have like a women only night. That's
yeah,
genius
it was like a
because it's
ladies'
like,
night. Ladies got them free, so it was like a lot of couples too, surprisingly. But remember, and tell your wife, like, there's male porn stars too who are there, so it's also
that's what I
sort of a
told her.
big dick convention.
That's what I told her. I was like, "There's gonna be some monsters there." I don't know what you
And the
mean,
ladies are all friendly. I love seeing women come up to the booth. I'm probably maybe even more friendly to the women than that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I bet. Oh no, I bet because like she would come up and be like, what kind of makeup and hair products and like, oh, you know what I mean, like do all that kind of fun stuff, and you'd be
Yeah,
going off on
good
that, and I'd be
stuff.
like, what are we doing here? S- So okay, so you were working in the corporate world and like doing some bikini modeling and stuff like that. So the breast, how did that come about? Right? Like what was the inspiration behind this?
I love that sort of like 90s style,
The
big
best.
boobs, and
Yeah.
I like that whole look. So I always, I mean, I had pretty big boobs to begin with, but I really wanted them more
Yeah.
voluptuous.
Oh yeah.
So, but it wasn't overnight. Like they were big when I first shot for Score. They were pretty big, but then I actually ended up going a little bit bigger a few years later. I think I got like booby greed, they call it.
Did
The
you go to
booby.
the same guy every time,
I
or
did.
same
Yep.
doctor, I should say?
Yep.
Oh, nice. So you've known this guy. So you've been there a few times then?
Yeah. I've had, well, like I went bigger and then I upgraded. So twice at least. So.
Oh, nice. All right, cool. So like, so honestly, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like the blonde pinup, like big
Yeah,
rack,
Victor
like
Smith, Pamela Anderson, that whole sort of
yes,
look.
yeah, Victoria Silvstedt, Playmate of the Year. No, Victoria, yeah, like that
Yeah,
whole look. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know that
So
look.
yeah. Oh, don't. Oh, I know that look. I was raised on that look, but
Right.
no.
Same here.
But no, yeah. So like so that was the inspiration behind it, and you were just like one day you're like, you know what, pull it. Can I ask you this though? So because you have like such a voluptuous chest and like it is eye catching, you know what I mean? Like, what do you think? Like when you're walking by in the grocery store and you just see some guy like mouth on the floor just watching you walk by, like does that bother you, or is that kind of what you're going for? Like, what's your what do you do when that happens? Because
I mean,
that
it's
definitely
flattering to
happens.
me. Yeah, it's really flattering to me when that happens. I mean, sometimes, it's not such positive, a lot, especially from women, women can, they'll be a little bit snarky about it at times, not all.
Really?
Yeah, it happens.
Oh,
But so you just
wow.
sort of take the good with the bad.
Yeah. Wow. I guess I can see that. Women are like can be so catty and jealous, and yeah.
Well,
I get it.
or they just don't like big boobs. Some people
Every
don't, they don't like big
no.
boobs.
Everybody likes boobs. That's a lie. That's a falsehood. We're erasing that narrative now. Everybody loves boobs.
You
Okay. They're the
should like
best.
them. You should.
Yeah, they are. Literally, they're great. They're just great, right? Like, come on, you know.
Not to
The, be-
love,
the, what is not to love? You got a lot to love.
right?
So, okay, so you're working in corporate, right? And things are going well. You're having fun, right? Like working in HR, driving every guy in the office absolutely wild, right? And then, because I mean, if that was 8 years ago, I mean, I guess you could still make somewhat inappropriate comments. I mean, if you worked in HR now, legit, you'd probably be like the busiest HR of all time. But
I don't know. Maybe.
but like
I feel
but back
like
then like
nobody ever visits HR when they're in a good mood. So I don't know.
no. That is like yeah, no. Yeah. Everybody yeah.
Generally not a positive, is it?
No, man, it is rare to be. I mean, you must put out so many fires. I know we keep harping on it, but oh man. Woo. But okay, so yeah, HR not usually great, but you're there, and then like you've done modeling and things like that, and then but like back then, even 8 years ago, I guess things had started to die down, but like you probably must have still gotten comments and jokes and things like that, right?
Once in a while, but
Yeah,
usually people kept it pretty above board for the most
yeah.
part.
I think like that's
They didn't want to get
office,
in
like
trouble. Maybe
yeah, like that's office stuff in general, though. You know what I mean?
that is true.
Like you can't. Oh man, you
In
got to be
today's
so
world, I can't
careful.
even imagine. I mean, I think even from 8 years ago, it's gotten a
Oh,
lot more
it
serious.
It's honestly it's a nightmare. I'm like terrified to talk to anybody, boy or girl,
Yeah.
man or
Well,
woman.
yeah,
Just
right. Because you don't know, boy, girl, in
you could be
between.
saying hi, and they'd be like, "What'd you say? Hi's offensive." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
back up."
So you just
Yeah,
you have to constantly edit yourself, I would imagine. I
it's
mean, even
nuts.
8 years ago, it's true, but now, my gosh.
I just wish they had like when a vocabulary gets updated on like what words are okay and what we're not. I just wish they put it out. Like just put out an updated vocabulary of what's
Yeah,
okay.
right. What is
You
acceptable
know?
is not acceptable.
Right.
I
Hey,
feel like
let me
these
know.
days it changes so quickly. You'd have to be like, sending out a mass email like every morning.
Yeah. We're like, look, guys, sorry, we got rid of potato. We're done.
Yeah,
It's
I
done.
can't say
It
it.
had a good run. No more
Can't
potato,
eat
guys.
them
I'm
anywhere
sorry.
in the office. You might offend someone. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
So, okay. So you're doing the HR thing, everything's, going, and then you've been working back and forth with Score, which like big boobs is like their thing, right? Big boobs
Right,
is
it's like
Score.
their whole shtick.
So they saw you coming and they're like, yeah, let's slice off a piece of that pie. So, you're with Score, and then the opportunity came up for content creation, right? Or like any type of things like that. And then so what was it like shooting the first scene? I know it was like exciting to do it, but do you remember like, what were your thoughts going into it and like what the day was like and anything like that?
I mean, it was so nerve-wracking. I mean, again, being completely nude, and it's,
Yeah.
just the kind of content it was scary. But everybody is so great at Score, and they really put me at ease. I think that looking back, it's like I didn't know what to expect, so it was sort of hard to like prepare. Whereas like the scenes afterwards, so I knew what was going to happen, so it was easier to sort of like plan what I would bring and my look sort of. So yeah, the first time I was sort of like at first a deer in the headlights a bit,
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Okay. So then, all right. So you get with the scene, and you go. Everything goes well, I assume, right? Everything went
Yeah,
good.
yes.
And so then you said, did you wait like a year until you performed in your next scene?
Yeah, like I said, initially I just thought it was going to be one and done, and I would just shoot that one time, and that would be it. But then the next year they invited me back, so that was really exciting, and I was so excited to shoot with them again. And it kept happening, like pretty much once a year. I would go back and shoot with them. And like their team is really consistent. Like it has been consistent, I think, for the last 15, 20 years. And so it's sort of like family after
Yeah.
because it's the same hair and makeup lady,
Yeah.
same photographer, that sort of thing.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun. That's nice though. Like that you
It's
get
nice.
like a work camaraderie, right?
Yeah, they're a fantastic organization, really great.
So, I mean, once word got around the office that the hot chick from HR did a video, like,
Uh,
what was the world like then? Like, the world exploded. Am I right?
yeah, well, to be honest, I don't know. I mean, I left after a few years, so I don't know. I mean, knock on wood, nobody ever said anything to me that they had seen my work. But you never know. Maybe people just didn't want to say anything to me.
I guarantee that like anyone that was there like have been like, dude, you remember the girl Vicky that was in HR? Did you know that she did this and like blah blah blah? So,
Maybe
uh,
now they might know.
oh
Find out
yeah,
a bit more, but I don't know back then.
I bet they definitely know now. But hey, that's what hey, they're fans of the show. You know what I mean?
So I
So they,
they're my only fans.
yeah, yeah, I
First
bet.
lover.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. So okay, so then, so your first scene, was it a boy girl?
Well, my first scene was just solo. So for the first
Okay,
6 years or so, yeah, probably 6 shoots. It was just me and
okay,
a toy. I really didn't start doing hardcore until about 2 to 3 years ago. I started doing like boy girl stuff.
okay, nice. And your first scene was a boy girl?
Um, well, you're saying like after like well 2 or 3
Oh
years
yeah,
ago.
sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So your first non-solo scene was a boy girl. I mean,
Yep, it was.
nice.
I did
Was
sort of
it?
like a
And
back to back boy girl, like 2 days of one with two different guys. So that was
oh,
yeah,
nice. There you go. And it went well. Everything went good.
yeah, it was great. I mean, I really, again, knock on wood, I've not shot with anybody that has been anything short of great. So
Oh man, that's lucky. We've had some people tell us some
yeah,
horror stories where it's
probably
like
because I haven't
there's
shot
like
a ton.
yeah, well like there's some people that have been on that have like like they have like a no fly list or whatever where it's like
Yeah,
still refuse to work with certain people, and I was like, really, why? And one girl told us is because the one dude's hygiene was so awful, and I
that
was
would do
like,
it.
man, yeah, I was like, but you
You're
think
up close
like,
and personal.
yeah, but like you think in like this industry, it's like
Yeah,
hygiene's got to be like,
absolute
let
number
alone,
one.
yeah, but it's like, let alone like your medical testing is so crazy. Like you'd
So
think
stringent.
hygiene would be on the same thing, but
Yeah. Like you just wouldn't want to embarrass yourself like that, you know?
Oh man,
You know,
how
and you
about
know
it?
what you're gonna go do. I
Right?
mean,
And you know what you're asking someone else to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, like we said, so like you're working with some guys and like things are going tough, but we've asked this some girls on the some ladies on the show. So, if a guy's having trouble getting it, get going, right? There's some girls that'll say like, if a guy asks them for help, so they'll say like, "Hey, not my job. Deal with it." Right?
Mhm.
And by all means, you got every right to say that because it is, your job's to perform. Your job's not to make them ready to perform, you know?
Yeah, I've been
But
asked
if
that before,
yeah,
for
and
sure.
what I mean, do you remember like what you said when the guy
Yeah, I
asked?
mean, I think it's fine up to a point. There was one scene I would never really call you out, but like where the finish was sort of a difficult thing, and it was like a really long time, like an hour.
Ooh, they didn't like that.
That
The
was
grip
probably a
the
tougher one.
grips did not like that.
Yeah, but I really actually feel for the guys. I can't imagine like having to perform come like that, on demand, really.
Yeah,
It's got to be so much pressure, so
yeah.
difficult. So I have a bit of empathy.
Yeah, my we had honestly one of the general consensuses that we found with the girl, like the ladies on the show, is that they've been like, look, if the guy isn't a complete asshole, then yeah, I'll help him out.
Yeah,
But if
absolutely.
he's an asshole, then he can go fuck himself. You
Yeah,
know what
I
I
can see that.
mean?
I would probably concur with that.
Like, yeah, just
I
be
agree.
polite and have decent hygiene, guys. Guess what? You're made in the
Very
shade.
simple,
Yeah,
right?
not asking a lot.
No, those are not big asks at all.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, if you're some of these guys that are shooting every day, it's like you need to have hygiene, pal. Otherwise, God knows.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, nice. So, okay. So, what was thus far? What would you think has been your funnest like scene to shoot? Do you remember?
Yeah, I would say probably the last one. Like I said, we just all had a really good chemistry on set, and it was fun. I'd never done like a girl girl boy before. That was a very fun, interesting dynamic.
Nice.
Again, just good chemistry,
Yeah.
sexy, very sexy.
Hey, all's well that ends well, right?
Yeah, I had a great cut,
Nice.
so it's always a positive.
And you'd want to do that again as well?
Yeah, oh, for sure, I would do that again.
Okay,
Absolutely.
nice. Is that, I mean, and you know what, you don't have to answer this, but is that the type of thing you would explore in your personal life as well, or not so much?
Possibly, I guess if the mood was right, the chemistry was
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean, now that like
Fun.
you see that it can be really fun. It's like, oh, all
Yeah.
right, you know.
I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't turn it down for sure.
Hey, we only go around once. You know what I mean? So everything's worth
Absolutely.
trying, right?
Sure.
Nice. So,
Good
do
thing.
you have yeah, do you have any like scenes or like type of scenes that you haven't shot yet that you really want to?
I'm really interested in getting into like fetish stuff more.
Okay.
Dominatrix type stuff. I just think it's interesting and cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just something I want to explore. We'll see.
We had on this show, we had a girl who's a femdom. Have you heard of those
Yeah,
yet?
I have. That's exactly what I'd like to get into a little bit more. I think it would be very, very interesting. Did
Yeah.
she have
Have
good
you heard?
stories?
Oh my, dude. And then we had another one. Have you heard about the financial dominatrix?
Oh, like a fin down?
Oh my God, those stories were
Pig
wild.
pigs and stuff like
Th-
that.
They were talking about gooning. Have you heard about gooning?
Yeah,
Oh,
like edging and gooning. Yeah,
yeah.
crazy.
Honestly, when she's telling us that, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking to myself, like, there's a reason. Like, I mean, women are by far like superior to men mentally because, like, I'll tell you this, it could be the hottest dude that's ever lived. There's no way a girl is going to be gooning for 30 hours. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
it's true.
I don't
It's the
care.
power of the penis, right?
Dude, it's like, I mean, it controls everything. But yeah, the fact that like the one girl we had on the show talked about a guy who had been gooning for 30 hours to like
Oh
her
my
content.
gosh.
And I was just like, you're
You
out.
think
I
you'd
mean, I
get
don't,
like chafed, like you'd be
yeah, yeah,
raw.
yeah. You think the thing would have fallen off by then,
Yeah,
It's like, what are we doing here?
rug burn, hand burn.
Oh, yeah,
That
everything burned.
that does not sound pleasant.
No.
But
God.
I think that there's one thing that I've really learned in this industry is that there is a very wide range of things that people are into. And, there are a lot of guys who, when they're into something, no matter how out of the norm it may seem, like they are really, really into it.
Yeah, when you find your thing, that's your thing,
Yeah,
and it's
that's your thing. Like almost can't
hey,
get
as long
off
as it's
without it.
healthy, yeah, oh yeah. I mean, honestly, that's why the internet's incredible. You know what I
It
mean? Like,
is.
there's something, it connects people. There's something for everybody.
Yeah. These
I
poor
believe
guys
that.
were just alone in their room, like having to
Oh,
imagine it. But now,
oh,
whatever it is you're into, you can find it
yeah.
for sure.
Imagine if it was like, I mean, all those years ago where you had all these, all these bad, awful guys. Like, I always feel like this, and I don't know if this is weird, and tell me your thoughts on this, but like, okay, let's say like an evil dictator from like the Middle Ages, you know what I mean? That's like chopping off heads and all this stuff. I was like, that guy was just a closet, a findom simp. And it's like, had he had that avenue to
Right. Sort
explore,
of
maybe
outlet.
he's right, exactly. He just needed an outlet. But then he found out his outlet was, closest thing you do is start chopping heads off. And he's like, I'll
Yeah.
do this because there's no financial dominations out here to make me goon, you know?
Absolutely. All he needed was a little help.
Little help. That's
Get
it.
that aggression
So,
out.
okay. So another quick question, little off the subject. Do you remember your favorite movie at the age of 10?
Wow. Gosh, I don't know. At the age of 10, I mean, I feel like at a certain point, like all the ages run together.
Well,
I don't know.
maybe favorite
Maybe
movie.
the
Sorry,
movie or something.
favorite movie as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of a few. I mean, Batman would be one, probably.
Right. Sure. Yep.
Um, yeah, like I would say probably Goonies
Oh,
was another one.
classic.
Yeah.
Soundtrack to
Stand By
Goonies
Me. I
is
really like
top
Stand
notch.
By Me. Again, though, I don't know. Maybe I was a little older.
No,
Maybe
Stand By
actually
Me is
younger
great.
for some of those. When you say
Stand By
10,
Me.
I'm trying to imagine myself at 10, what I was into. But yeah, like Stand By Me, I really liked.
Yeah, no, classic, absolute classic, great movie, right? That was what based on a Stephen King short story or something,
Yeah,
right?
I was really into Stephen King, like books and stuff. So
Oh, really?
that's probably why.
Dude, I have a buddy, right? And like he's like a good buddy of mine, and he swears by everything Stephen King. He's
Yeah, they
like
were very
that guy, he's just like the best writer of all time.
I actually like his short stories probably even more than I like his longer novels. So
There was a show that came out a number of years ago. It was like God, I think it's called like 11/3/63 or something like that. But it's a story that it's about like a guy goes back in time to try and stop the Kennedy assassination, right?
oh
So
yeah,
like yeah, like Stephen King will write all like these horrors and thrillers, but then he writes something like this too. I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like the
yeah,
imagination on this guy is
yeah.
unbelievable.
I feel like if you have that kind of talent, you could probably interchange it, whatever the type or the genre, you can just swap from one to another pretty
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, if you're that ultra talented. Nice. So, okay. So, you want to explore, you want to do more things. Is there a male talent out there that you haven't worked with that you're excited to get your hands on?
Oh gosh. There's so many. I can't really even narrow it down. Alex Jones, I think, is somebody who I'd like to shoot with.
Yeah,
I've heard from many women that Manuel Ferrara is amazing to shoot with.
that's what we've
Kira
heard.
Lee, I know
Oh,
big ones. I say Maxwell, I suppose.
yeah. Hey, no, yeah, definitely. He's a great one too. Great guy too. Fan of the show, listener to the show. But no. I mean, all those guys would be absolutely thrilled to shoot with you too. I am sure.
Yeah.
No. And then okay. So how about this? Let's go down another turn because we're coming towards the top of time. Do you have a guess like worst day of work in your entire life? Does anything come to mind?
Oh, now are you talking about like the adult realm or like corporate realm?
Let's do everywhere. Yeah, the whole thing. I
I mean,
mean,
of course, anybody
some
who works
days
in
in
corporate America
HR
knows
must
those
have
kind of
been
days where you just, you get to work and traffic's bad and you're late and just everything seems to go wrong, meetings
yeah.
canceled and, just issues popping up all the time. So I
Oh,
definitely have days. I don't know. To be honest with you, not really in the adult industry. I've been so fortunate, I feel. So I can't really say.
you
It's
know what? I'll tell you this, one thing we've found, and you probably would know better, is that because like let's call space spade, there is like a stigma around the adult industry.
For
right?
sure.
Of like, that it's not like there's like all these things and whatever. So I think like a lot of times in the adult industry, they'll overcompensate by that, by being overly professional
Overly
and
professional.
over.
It's very
Yeah,
true. I think, yeah, I think that is very true. Because I think that was probably the one thing that really surprised me was how business-like it is. I mean, you sort of think, like you said, it's so stigmatized that you think, oh, just everything's loosey goosey. It's something like, boogie nights.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it is not like that at all. I mean,
yeah,
again, like you were saying before, like the stringency of testing, you sign your life away at the beginning of a scene.
yeah,
There's like all sorts of like, very attorney vetted type paperwork that you're signing off on, and videos to say that you are a consenting adult and that you wanting to do this, nobody's coerced you.
yeah,
And everybody has been very professional. And I think another thing, I think, especially with OnlyFans, you read all these articles where these girls are making, I don't know, $100,000 a month, $1 million a month, and people think, oh, it's just so easy. She doesn't do anything. And let me tell you, it is much more difficult and time consuming than
oh,
I ever thought it would be. It
yeah,
is not easy. And the
no.
people who have longevity in the adult industry are very good business people for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. Honestly, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, one of the things that's frustrating to me is someone always thinks like, "Oh, all I gotta do is put out one video and it's gonna get a gajillion hits, and then I'm good forever." And I'm like, "Buddy, you have
Yeah.
no
No
clue
idea.
at how much time it takes. You're posting nonstop. You're
Yeah.
living to create
Editing,
like,
editing. I'm sure it's the same for you. Just like you
oh,
think, oh, you're just shooting some interview, but that's not what it is. You've got to go back and editing and
yeah."
polish it up and coordinate schedules. It's not that easy.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, yeah, so much goes into it. Not even that. It's just like, there's little things too. Like your device only has so much storage, but this is like, content you can't get rid of because who knows what you want to do with it. Well, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much different things you got to think about, and it's a lot of like, putting out fires and problem solving. But you learn small tricks and things like that, and you just, you keep it going. You know what I mean?
Live and learn, right?
Live and learn. So, okay, we are coming towards the top of time. Victoria, I'll tell you, you are awesome. Thank you
Oh,
so much
you're
for making
awesome.
this work.
For
Thank you
having
for
me.
like, sticking with us and committing and making this happen. I can't thank you enough. So,
Oh.
before we get out of here, I do want to talk. What's something you have up and coming that we can't wait
Well,
to
like I
see?
said, I'm going to be at Exxotica Miami. So if you are in the greater Miami area, please come and say hello, or if you're visiting there. I'm also probably going to be shooting some mainstream scenes and some collaborations during that week. So that's exciting. And that should be coming out soon.
Very
So
cool.
lots of fun stuff coming up. And again, you can always go to my OnlyFans. You're looking for a certain like custom or something in particular. I love my customs. So
Love it. Nice. Very cool. And like I said, in the description of this episode, we'll have links where you can find Victoria's OnlyFans, her social media, and everything else in between where you can get your hands on all the stuff Victoria has and all the great content she makes. So perfect. So we are coming towards the top of time. So, Victoria, anything you want to say to your fans, friends, family, anyone before we get out of here?
well, just thank you all so much. I just really appreciate all your support. Bye.
You are too kind. Well, speaking of being too kind, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, and our guest today was the one and only Victoria Vale. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You have us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast. You us on Twitter and TikTok at Working Pete Pod. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe, and we'll keep bringing you this sweet, sweet content. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks. See you.
Bye.